actually stoked from it. And I think no matter how dark or cold or scary things get, unlike the boiler at a house or an apartment building, that pilot light inside you does not go out. It is burning inside you. And the reason why I do what I do is because I spent decades making my life harder than it needed to be. I spent decades being a complete jerk to myself and blocking love and having a campaign of misery that kept me company inside my own head. And as my life got better and better and better, and I started attacking the problems, that campaign of misery just turned inward and started attacking me. And I thought I was the only one that felt this way. I thought I was the only one that was struggling with childhood trauma and a nervous system that was dysregulated and all kinds of guilt and stuff that was, in relationships. I thought I was the only one that did awful things in college that I regret, and in law school, and in my 20s and 30s and maybe 40s and maybe yesterday that I regret. When I finally started to find simple things that I could latch onto, simple actions that I could take that felt like that flame inside me that I think represents love. It represents the magic and the possibility that you were born to create in this world. It represents the kind of yearning of wanting more love in your life, wanting to make a difference, wanting to feel more deeply connected. When I started to realize, wow, I'm not the only one that was literally almost trying to extinguish my own life, but that there were things that I could do that would alleviate my own suffering, that would make me feel a little happier. And what I figured is if I can save anybody the headache, the heartache, the crap that I put myself through, just because I didn't know any better. And because of the DNA and the genetics and the experience that I've had, that every one of you have probably had. If I could save anybody what I put myself through, that is a life work. That makes my flame inside burn brighter. And so I am absolutely obsessed with figuring out ways to be happier, to be more connected, to process the mistakes that I make faster, to apologize more quickly, to manage my tone of voice around my kids and husband that's not going so well. If I can, that to me is incredible. And so when I also get this kind of note, or you guys stop me outside the bathroom, or I bump into somebody in the hall and they say, hey, that thing that you shared helped my child think. Or somebody stopped me yesterday and they're like, oh my gosh, your husband Chris is starting a new master's program at the age of 52. I just signed up for nursing school because I've finally started listening to myself. I started seeing and feeling that flame inside me. That's why I do what I do. And so hearing that the videos that I'm making above my garage in southern Vermont are reaching around the world and that it matters to somebody, to a real human being, that is everything. Lying is exhausting. You have to remember what you said. You also know that you're doing it. So they might not know, but you know. It is so much easier just to be honest. And that starts with you. It starts with you being honest with yourself about what you actually want. And I knew that when I was in breakdown in 2014, I knew what I wanted. I did not want to lose the house. I did not want to be an alcoholic. I did not want to have my marriage blow up. And so I got to work. And I built a business and I made money and we paid off our debt and we started to, it didn't happen overnight, it happens over time. But 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit, and I was fired from my dream job, that talk show, thank God. And then the speaking business and event business imploded, and I'm responsible for 15 families, like income and healthcare and terrifying, right? And the anxiety comes roaring back. I could not answer, what do I want my life to look like? Because I didn't know. And there was a part of me that's like, I don't want it to look like this. I don't want to be on planes all the time. I don't want to be racing all over the place. I don't want to feel on edge and busy and tired. I need to figure out what I actually want. And it was the opposite of the way things look. The opposite of the way things look. And that's how you can begin. That's how you tap back into this flame that's inside you. Notice who you're jealous of. Slow down and ask yourself the question, what do I want to do? What do I want to feel like? And when I sit up here and I see the lives that have changed and I see everything that's happened, the only explanation for me is that by sharing my story and sharing my experiences, I have found my home. And the reason why I am doing a podcast is because most everything that I do was like either in a book, or it was on a corporate stage, or it was in partnership with Audible or Starbucks or JP Morgan. And the only thing that we were really putting out there that was helping everybody was social media. And you can only get so personal in a 60-second reel. You can only go so deep in a thing that you're doing on YouTube. And it's an enormous platform. It's absolutely incredible in terms of how you can reach people and how you can inspire people and how you can inspire yourself and how you can tap into your creativity. But I was so thirsty for a way to connect with you in real time. So my social media is trying to bring you behind the scenes as we're like at work and we're talking to people just like you and me and trying to bring you there. I want this podcast to literally be real time in terms of the things that I'm struggling with, the things that we just tried at work. Or like we have an episode coming up where I take you on a hike for about 3 minutes, and then I start huffing and puffing so much because I'm exercising that we have to do the rest of the thing in the studio. But that's what I want to do. I want to just do life together, share what's going on together, interview really amazing people together, because I don't feel like I'm ahead of you. I feel like I'm right next to you. And there are times where you've done something that I haven't done, and you're gonna hold the light a little higher, and I'm gonna follow you. And there are times where I've been a step ahead of you, or Kathy's been a step ahead of you. That's the way that I look at this. To you, happy birthday.